Hi, my name is Daniel Mark Miller. I'm a lead VFX artist and compositor, and I'm here to talk to you today about multipass rendering with V-Ray and Maya. To see why we use multipass renders, we're going to learn how to use them in a composite. A correct workflow means that we can match the original render, but it doesn't mean we have to. In fact, the entire power of multipass rendering is the ability to create variations on your render. We're going to use Nuke in the demo, but the principles are universal. You could apply the same principles within Photoshop, Flame, After Effects, Digital Fusion, or any compositing package which enables a linear workflow. We're going to gain a thorough grounding in the how and the why of back to beauty compositing. That is, the process of recreating your original render from its constituent elements. With this info, we can work efficiently in a team, giving our compositing team exactly what they need, and making sure that the aspects that need to be dealt with in the render can be dealt with in the render, and those which need to be dealt with in composite can be dealt with by them. This knowledge is going to guide our rendering decisions in the rest of the course and beyond. So let's imagine we have a creative brief. In this example, a series of vignettes for a title sequence, set in a police procedural in the 1940s. So this is going to have a lot of revisions, and we want to complete as many revisions as possible in compositing, because we expect a lot of creative feedback. And we need to make amends fast and interactively, sometimes maybe even with the client in the room. So we're going to split our render into mats and into render passes. This demo will give you a taster for the power of the multipass rendering approach. So here we have our main render. It's a simple vignette, somewhat inspired by film noir. Now, as well as this render, I've also rendered out some mats separately. So, for example, we have mats for the whiskey, including the whiskey notably as it's reflected and as it's refracted within the glass. Like we have a mat for the glass itself and for the cap. We also here have mats for the desk, including the desk that's being reflected and refracted within the glass. We have mats for the gun, and that's also refracted, and we have mats for the mugs, and they're also refracted. So with those various mats, we also have a bunch of other layer passes within our main render pipe, which is going over here. For example, here we have separated out the actual materials and the light. Now, we will be going through the maths of this, but all I want you to notice is that there is either a plus or a multiply. So all the maths is very simple: multiplication or addition. And in the intermediate steps, we are applying color correct nodes. So we're color correcting the elements as they come through, and then either adding them or multiplying them to other layers. As we get to the end, we can also adjust the depth of field using our depth pass, which again we'll be looking at in a later module. And I just want to give you an example here of one way we could have improved this render using our passes, just to make it sing a little bit more, tidy it up, and make it a little bit dramatic. I press space for full screen and H to fill the frame, and now I'm going to press play. So it's not taking very long to cache. We're actually, all of the adjustments I've made are being processed live as I talk. So you can see that this is a pretty fast process compared to a 3D render, which is the entire purpose, really. That could be that our clients want something completely different. Let's say they want something more in a Sin City style, and they don't like that pull focus either. They want to keep the focus on the gun the whole way through. So let's go over to this other pipe. So this is using exactly the same elements. Again, basic addition, multiplication, and color correcting adjustments. The only exception being the Z depth. I can delete that node, we don't even need it. And looking at the bottom of that pipe, as you can see, we've created a dramatically different look, and we've even managed to animate the lighting within the compositing process. To prove that I've done it within compositing, I would like to adjust the timing slightly. So I'm going to pause that, and I'm going to go to the top of my tree, and we can see here a light select and one of these color correct nodes, and all I'm using here is the multiply, in other words multiplication. Multiplied by 0, obviously it's gone. Multiplied by 1, it's switched on. So if I go here, I have my keyframes here in the dope sheet, and if I drag these back and play again, you can see that the light switches on much earlier, and that's seconds to adjust. This could take a very long time to re-render using a different light setup. In fact, I could also reverse the timing here, so I could delete that keyframe and begin with the light switched on, move that keyframe over there, and then 2 frames later turn it to 0. And in that case, we now have an opening of the shot lit with the lamp and the moonlight. And of course, as we get to the end of the shot, the light switches off. So I hope this demonstration has given you a taster for why we use multipass rendering. And with that said, we're going to move on to the next clip where we'll be talking about the actual equation used to construct our original render from its various constituent elements.